Yes, I do. Hurry up, Mayor, please. Okay, take it away.
Okay, so the first item on the agenda for the Public Works Committee is the Children at Play signage request, and I have a motion, which is moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Darryl McLaughlin. Be it resolved that the Public Works Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that a Children at Play signs be erected at each end of Sturgeon Mountain Road.
Any questions? Councillor Jackson?
The problem I have with Children at Play signs is that on every road there's children. What is the speed limit on Sturgeon Mountain Road? Probably 80 kilometers. 80 kilometers an hour. Are we going to put Children at Play at every road that has 80 kilometers? I don't mean to be mean, but they know when they bought the house that they were living on a road that had 80 kilometers zone, and there are children on every road in our township, and we start putting up Children at Play. To me, unless there is a playground or a school or something that attracts children to an area, to me that would be the only reason why I would agree to have Children at Play signs put up, because then you're getting more than just a family of 2 children, and
I believe there's only 6 houses on that road, too, like in 2 miles. Councillor McLaughlin.
Well, I kind of have to agree with what Councillor Jackson is saying, because, and if maybe people don't realize, but there was a request one time came to us to put up Children at Play signs on Jeffrey Lake Road. Well, when it all ended up, the signs went before the one house and another one just past where that one house was. You know, there's a cost to these signs. I think we need to, if we're going to do this, we need a structure of how many children live on the roads. You know, that to me is a big factor. How many houses are on the roads, things like that. I think we need to have more background on how many children there are on the road. Everybody would love, as Councillor Jackson says, to have Children at Play on every road.
I remember sitting at a meeting where the former reeve of Laurentian Valley was sitting, and somebody had come asking for a reduced rate of speed because there was children on the road or signs, and he simply looked at them and said, roads are made for driving on and not for children to play on.
Mayor Johnson.
Actually, if you look at the signage schematics, children playing signs are for identifying schoolyards, ball diamonds, and so forth. If my suggestion, if there's any flavor of putting up a sign, it should be watch for children, because the other sign is not legal. Or if there's a lot of kids playing, we reduce the speed limit.
In this case, there's 2 children that is the concern, and I don't know how many houses are on that road, but there's children on every road, and we're not going to put up signs on every road. It's too costly, in my opinion.
Anybody else? Okay.
So shall I read the motion again, or will we carry or not carry it?
All in favor? Of putting signs
Of the
up?
resolution to put 2 signs, one at either end of Sturgeon Mountain Road. So I will read it again, so everybody is aware. Be it resolved, the Public Works Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that children at play signs be erected at each end of Sturgeon Mountain Road.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay, not carried.
So the second item on the agenda is working on personal vehicles policy update. Moved by Darrell McLaughlin, seconded by Charlene Jackson. Be it resolved that the Public Works Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that the human resource policy relating to working on personal vehicles in the township garages be discussed and revised.
Questions? Charlene? Oh, sorry, Councillor Jackson.
Okay. I had emailed Marcia, the treasurer, and asked a question. I don't know if anybody received that reply from Marcia. If everybody received that reply to state, maybe I'll let Marcia state what was concluded from the insurance company.
Sorry, I don't have the actual email in front of me. Now, I did ask our insurance company what they suggested if we should allow township staff to work on non-related work items in the garage. And his response was, no, not at all. It is a risky situation when you get in there. Vehicles could fall or they can get hurt in there. We're just opening up a door to liabilities, so he suggests no. That was also confirmed with the Bruce Beakley up at the county. He suggests the same thing, that we don't have a policy in place to allow them to work in their garage.
Well, I'd like to make a statement on that. I think them guys have been allowed to work in there for a long time, and one person can ruin it for everybody. And I don't like to deny the guys a chance to work in there.
But I don't think it's necessarily a fact of one person. I think just now with the risks involved nowadays, it's very easy to get injured. Things could happen, and it just can go south really quick. So I think just on a general consensus from everybody that I've spoken to was definitely no working on personal vehicles in our garages going forward.
Councillor McLaughlin.
I totally have to agree with what Marcia's been saying. I mean, there was an incident just last week, I think, where something happened and a gentleman was pinned under a car and died. Now, if that happens in our garage, we're in big trouble. So I think it has nothing to do with any other issues other than, as Marcia says, for liability issues, that this needs to be stopped immediately as far as I'm concerned. I feel bad because I've had work done in there, and it's nice when it's warm, but the cost and the liabilities are too high.
Mayor Johnson.
It's very sad that we can't allow our staff to work on their own vehicles in the facilities that they work on all the time. But times have changed, and just the courts are full of lawsuits against everybody for similar things. And so I would have to, I promise never to speak if I was agreeing, but I don't think we have a choice.
Oh, Councillor McLaughlin.
I'm just wondering if Bill had any comments towards this.
Well, a lot of the folks do use it. For instance, I guess we'll have to figure out a policy. Like, for instance, today, during the snowstorm, they parked their vehicles in the garage while they're out plowing, so that has to stop. Something was just brought up to me. What about working on the Christmas float? Is that going to be allowed in the shop? It's not a public works vehicle.
I can answer that. That our float is our own township responsibility, so that will be covered.
Okay.
Yeah, it's anything related to Whitewater Region, not for parking, not for personal items.
I hate to see the policy change from what it is, but I understand completely.
Mayor Johnson.
don't understand that they couldn't, park their vehicles in a snowstorm out of the road of our equipment that is trying to clean up the yard when they are allowed to park on our property in the parking lot.
No, I mean, this is just a suggestion from our insurance company. It's not say that they can't, it's just that they recommend not to. So if you have a vehicle, one of their vehicles in there, what happens, one of our trucks backs into their vehicle by accident, then, you know, you can get into a dispute, and it's just, they're just recommending it. You don't have to, it's just recommendations from our insurance company as well as Mr. Beakley. It's what
Reeve
council
Miller.
decides.
I believe those are recommendations that we should all follow right to a T. It's unfortunate, sign of the times, that's what I feel about it. Thank you.
Okay, vote on this? Read it again.
Again, so,
Oh, sorry. Chris Olmsted?
So, just thinking out loud as we're going through this, so I wouldn't mind seeing them be able to park in the garage. And the only reason I'm saying that, I agree that no mechanical work and that kind of stuff, because you're talking about tools and liability and that. But you're talking about guys who were out on the road for, you know, last night's snowstorm. They could be coming in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what their schedules are. But then having to come in, clean off a car at, it could be 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then trying to get home from there. So, and maybe it's part of my soft heart, but I wouldn't mind seeing us allow them to be able to park in there, but not do any work or mechanical work and that kind of stuff.
I agree with it. Okay, Charlie, okay. Councillor McLaughlin.
Thank you. I want to direct this to Councillor Jackson if she knows what the policy is in Laurentian Valley, or do they have one? Do you know that answer?
They're not allowed to park in the garage.
Okay, and CFB Petawawa, I know guys who work the roads up there and they park in their shop. Yeah, at night, they do the night crew. Okay, so do you want to vote on this? Oh, Reeve Miller.
I would just like to say that I would not support parking in the garage. And what about insurance issues for those parked vehicles in case of fire? And nobody's around at that time either, right? If I understand right. This is Canada. The lion's share of us have the same problem. Just because you work at Whitewater shouldn't entitle you to that. And that's, I feel, is correct. As much as we'd like to give it, I don't think we should give in on it. It should be followed to a T.
All right.
Thank you.
again moved by Darryl McLaughlin, seconded by Charlene Jackson. Be it resolved that the Public Works Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that the human resource policy relating to working on personal vehicles in township garages be discussed and revised.
All those in favor? Yeah, it doesn't really say anything. Yeah.
I think what should happen is we'll write a policy stating everything that will come back to council to be passed. I think that's what this was for, was to see if council wanted us to change the policy and update it or not.
I think it should be effective immediately.
Okay, so revised. Be it resolved that the Public Works Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that the human resource policy relating to working on personal vehicles in the township garages be discussed and revised to reflect that no personal vehicles allowed within the township garages, allowed to be within, and to be effective immediately.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
item number 3, the fuel tender request, moved by Darryl McLaughlin, seconded by Charlene Jackson. Be it resolved that the Public Works Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that the supply of propane and fuel should be put out for tender.
Questions? No, Reeve Miller?
Just curious about a little background. We may cover this one other time. What is the normal procedure for this? Is this something that we've done on a regular basis? Or who is our current supplier? A little background information. Can anyone give it to me? Bill, thanks.
So right now we use Dunbar for the Ross Patrol Yard and Ultramar Services Westmeath and also the Beachburg Fire Hall and the landfill. Since I came here, we've been working on a fuel tender, originally with Dean, and then the county put out a county-wide tender that we were going to be involved in. We didn't get into that with the new council, so we actually have most of one written and just about ready to go, so we could have it out fairly quickly.
Reeve Miller?
Would there have to be a list prepared? Is that prepared? I guess there's a fair number of fuel companies. Would the strategy be to get one of these to all of them?
I believe that's what we would try and do. Any local, like go through the yellow pages in the local and advertise in the papers.
Okay. Okay, and how long a term do you buy for? Or do you buy it by the liter, or booking, or, you know?
I think the county tender, no, I'm not going to even speculate on what it was that we were going to look. I would think it would have to be probably 3 to 5 year tender, because we'd be looking at having supply of new tanks, new equipment, and everything.
Yeah, any of them will do that, even without that 5 year commitment.
Yeah.
In a minute.
In a minute, yeah.
I believe that. Yeah. Anyway, that answers my question. Thank you.
Councillor Jackson?
So have you got an average of fuel consumption and propane consumption so that they kind of know what they're going to be bidding on?
Sandra had all those numbers
Okay.
worked out a couple of years ago, yeah.
Have they been updated since then?
They haven't changed very much, but we'll look at it again, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor McLaughlin?
I was going to say, maybe we should give Bill direction to go ahead and prepare this tender and bring it to council. Let us have a look at it in the near future, within the next month.
Yep.
If you
Certainly.
think you could bring it together and bring it towards us, and then at that point, we could decide to vote on it.
Mayor Johnson?
Just directing it at Bill. Bill, I believe that in 2008 or 2009, all of the tanks that we have on our sites were purchased by us or given to us by the gas companies that we're using, and we can have anybody fill them now. I think that was just their way of getting rid of that liability. But I believe they're all new double-line tanks and the whole issue, so that you should be free and clear of any obligation there.
Okay.
Councillor Jackson?
Can I make a suggestion that you check that out? And also, I think staff can go ahead and do the tender. I don't want to be reviewing every tender that comes over. I think that's up to staff to do the tender. That's administration and not council to actually look at the tender prior to it going out. If Councillor McLaughlin wishes to look at the tender himself, he can do that. I don't know that it needs to come back to the council table for us to decide whether or not the tender is a validated tender before it even goes out. I think that's up to staff and administration, and then but we'll see the results of the tender, and it can be simply advertised. If people are looking for tenders, and they always do that, all the companies look for tenders, and they'll find it if it's advertised on your website or advertised in the paper.
Councillor
What
McLaughlin?
if you miss somebody? Then there's going, that's my fear. If you miss somebody, then there's trouble to be paid. So I think you simply advertise it, and then your liability of missing anybody has gone down drastically.
Councillor McLaughlin?
I'm sorry, maybe I picked the wrong words. I just wanted this thing to move forward. It was my thoughts. I apologize if I picked the wrong words in my presentation. So let's just move forward, get it done, and let Bill go ahead and do it. That's fine with me.
Okay, anything else?
Okay, be it resolved that the Public Works Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to council that the supply of propane and fuel should be put out for tender.
All in favor? Okay. Is that it, Kip? Thank you. You've been the best. Oh, Councillor Jackson.
Before Mr. Meisner leaves, I just want to say that the guys did a fantastic job today cleaning up the snow. I know the main street isn't done yet, and that's to be expected, but the roads were done. They were done before I went to work, which was absolutely wonderful, both sides of the roads. And please pass on my sincere thank you.
Yeah, it was good. All right.
So he could touch his feet. Okay, you can speak to that. Okay. So we'll begin the Recreation and Culture Committee meeting now. First item on the agenda is swimming lessons in Westmeath, and we do have a motion, so I'll go ahead and read the motion. You should have all the background with you if you have any questions. Hope that's here to answer. So the motion is, be it resolved, the Recreation and Culture Committee of the Township Whitewater Region recommends to council that the summer swimming lessons program be run at 2 locations in 2016, at the municipally owned Beachburg Little Lakes Beach and at Nangor Resort Beach in partnership with the resort owners. This expansion of the program will require hiring 4 students to cover the lifeguard and swim instructor duties for July and August. Discussion? Councillor McLaughlin?
When I read this and I thought about it, I was wondering, I'm not in favor of 2 spots. I have no problem if we want to do it in Westmeath and maybe run a bus service from Cobden, Beachburg, wherever to take it. But and the other, and I'm going to go to Marcia, does this cause a problem with liability if we're going on to this property?
Well, that'll have to check with our insurance company, but this, for 2015 year, we did go on Wilderness Tours property at no liability. We were covered, so I'm assuming it would be the same down at Nangor.
I believe Wilderness Tours also made everybody sign a waiver
Yes.
form that were on their property.
Reeve?
Can anybody tell me what the cost is of running 2 versus running 1? I'm not sure how much we're paying or contributing or how this works. Background, please.
Well, last year's program we ran for just under 2 months, and we had 2 students paid at $15 an hour. So I'm not sure what that total was. We do get grant money for that swim program as well, and I believe the WDRA and Neil Nicholson that made the initial request will be looking for grant funding as well, because it'll be part of an actual sports summer camp for children, but the swimming lessons are just a little perk for them as well.
I see. So we're basically looking at, if we run the 2, we're doubling up. That's what
Essentially,
that's
yeah.
what that
We will get
means.
some,
So it's
we
going to
will
be
get,
10,000 a year instead of 5,000 a year just for labor. That's a rough guess, or we could figure that?
we can follow up with some numbers. I don't know exactly how much, but we would be getting some grant money back.
Okay, Marcia?
Oh, sorry. Yes, our fees, we collected $1,760 in beach fees. So that was actually for all of the 2 sessions, sorry? Yeah, the 2 sessions. We had salaries just over $9,000. We did end up paying them more to keep them, which originally wasn't budgeted for. And then we have small things at about, roughly about $1,900, and those are expenses. Beach supplies, advertising for swimming lessons, and whatnot. So we certainly do not make any money. We received about $2,500 from Algonquin College for the students. So it is certainly, we don't make any money, we don't break even. It was just certainly to promote the Whitewater region area, and the children love it. So we're hoping to continue that.
Did we not
if
receive
we
grant
can.
money for the student wages as well, or is that the Algonquin?
That is the Algonquin, yeah.
Okay, Mayor?
We always can apply for, student funding,
That's what it is through Algonquin College.
but is there not a federal also?
I just applied to it. We missed the last year's deadline. I didn't know we had to do that, but I've already put in for the request, and right now it's about $5,000. You're right, but I don't know if it's. There was a deadline,
Okay.
Which has now been extended, I believe, to the 11th of March. However, mine's gone in, and it looks like we're going to. Well, I applied for it. Be about $5,000. Whether we get it or not, I've also applied for the roads department as well, and.
So, my suggestion would be to see how much funding that we have available to us in grants and so on and so forth. If we can afford it, maybe we could move forward and rediscuss, and if we can't, then we'd have to stick to one.
Okay. Councillor McLaughlin?
That basically is kind of where I was coming from. I'm thinking, and when I read this over, because we have to do work at the Little Lakes, am I correct on that, Marcia?
Well, that's in the budget to talk about, yes.
Okay, but at Nangor, I understand there wouldn't have to be any work done. Am I?
That's right. Now, I haven't sat down with the owners of Nangor yet to go through everything, so, you know.
Maybe you could go ahead with that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things to think about, especially when that is a tourist area where people stay and spend the night. Will some guests want to join our swim program? You know, how do we deal with that? There's certainly lots of things that we'll need to address.
But I think it's an idea that maybe should be, you know, do the background.
Yes.
So that if as Mayor Johnson said, we came with funding, then we would know, okay, this is what's going.
Yeah.
So I would like to give staff direction to pursue the background of the swim program at Nangor.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Jackson?
All right, Council?
Just wondering, does this fall under the Healthy Kids program at all, that we can apply for that funding? And is there anything that the township is doing? Because I understand that all the applications have to be in by the end of this month.
We have a separate proposal for the Healthy Kids Community Challenge, which we are supposed to have another meeting perhaps next week or the week after. It doesn't involve this particular proposal, but yes, we are involved with the Healthy Kids.
And who's sitting on that committee?
We have Chris, the chair of rec, myself, and a few other community partners as well.
Because the council has to apply for it, the township has to apply for it, and council will have to match funding or not match funding. Is a report going to come to council with regards to what you're suggesting?
It is going to have to come to council, and the CAO actually has to submit the report as well, so she has to be
the contact person.
Right. Yeah.
I guess. I didn't even know that there was a committee set up.
There is a deadline. The deadline is not set in concrete. The county just has to release their funds by March 31st. We can work with the deadline in terms of getting the proposal in.
That's not what they're telling us at LV, so.
Oh, we've had a separate conversation with them on the phone just last week, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
Councillor Rieger?
I just want to say, I'm excited to see a program being offered at the other end of the township. This is exciting for me anyway, I'm sure for a lot of people. I guess my question is, you had suggested we may need 4 lifeguards, but I was under the understanding we struggled last year just to get 2. And I'm just questioning if perhaps we could even just hire the 2 and extend the program to a month and a month, as opposed to.
That could be an option. It is very difficult to retain students who have all of the qualifications to be a lifeguard. We really lucked out last year to get a brother and sister team that were amazing. I'm not sure if they are interested in doing it again this year or not, but yes, that is the difficult part.
I'm on the same page as you, Kathy, that we do so much in this neck of the woods with respect to festivals and fairs and swimming programs that we absolutely should be looking at that far region of La Paz, Westmeath area. We don't do enough out there. Councillor McKay?
It's been my experience, anything that the Westmeath Rec Association does, they do a really good job, and they've got a lot of volunteers that are really well run. Thank you.
So it sounds like the recommendation here is to table this, and we'll do some more fact-finding about how much it costs and how doable this is. But I think everybody hopes it's doable.
Absolutely.
Okay. Item number 2 is Premier's Award for Agri-Food Innovation Excellence, and I have a motion. Be it resolved, the Recreation and Culture Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to Council that the Premier's Award for Agri-Food Innovation Excellence Program should be promoted, and members of the agricultural community in Whitewater Region should be encouraged to apply before the April 15th, 2016 deadline. So again, at Olga Roma last week, we had a very good presentation from a professor. I can't remember what university he was from. He's actually a doctor in the U.S. He made a fantastic presentation about the next 4 years in Canada. So he talked about the last 20 years of where Canada's come from 1990 to the present, and then the next 5 years. And he was very emphatic by stating that Canada's #1 export in the next 5 years is going to be agri-food. So I think you're going to see a lot of programs come out towards agri-food excellence, and I think you're going to see funding opportunities. And he actually he had a world map, and he drew a circle on the world map. So if you have a big world map and he drew a circle on the world map that was probably about 1/20th of the map, and he showed that over half the world's population resided in that one little corner, which was so big. And of course you had Taiwan and China, all that. But anyway, he was stating that Canada's #1 export is going to be to that region in the world, and it would be food that we'll be exporting there. So again, I think you're going to see a lot of funding towards that. Any discussion on this? All in favor? Passed? Carried? Next on the list is accessibility requirements for recreational trails, beach access, exterior paths. So Hope is going to speak to it.
This is just an information item that the CAO did a quick little brief report on. So as of January 1st, 2016, any public sector organizations such as ourselves, must make any new or redeveloped public spaces accessible, including recreation trails, beach access routes, outdoor public use eating areas, and exterior paths of travel. So basically, if we do any work to any of our outdoor recreation areas, such as playgrounds, tourist booth pathways, etc., they have to be made accessible. That's just a new regulation.
Mayor?
That actually should be fairly inexpensive now. I just came back from a trip down to Orlando, and in most of the places that we went on tours and so forth, they had handicap accessible outhouses, porta potties, and that would be probably a way for us to go at the Beachburg site, is with something to that effect, because we don't want to get in, well, we can't go with something that close to the water with septic. So that's available, and they're really nicely done. They're American, but they're really nicely done. We can get them in Canada at Aurelia, I'm sure. But they're available.
Councillor McLaughlin, you had your hand up.
I was just saying, and this discussion when we have to do upgrades towards the Little Lakes to do work there, it would mean we would have to put in like a cement walkway to any picnic area, picnic benches, the picnic benches would have to be wheelchair accessible, is that correct? Is that what I'm getting out of this? That's my understanding anyway.
Mayor?
To be wheelchair accessible, they can be compacted stone dust. They're quite accessible. And you can make access, handicap access rather inexpensively for those type of operations because they're all on one level. And as I was saying with the porta potties, and you can use them for change rooms, they can be done quite inexpensively.
As long as it's inexpensive and doesn't come into a big factor in our budget, that's what bothers me.
No, it should not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're in the day and age where we need to keep accessibility in mind in everything we do.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think we're all converted already, right? And the last on the list is the letter from the Westmeath District Recreation Association. I think it's an FYI. No, I guess it's not. We do have a motion, but I do see a letter in here that we've already supported, more or less. So be it resolved, the Recreation and Culture Committee of the Township Whitewater Region recommends the Council to approve the letter written by the Chief Administrative Officer to extend the Westmeath and District Recreation Association's liquor license regarding the request for the annual Winter Carnival from March 4th, 5th. I guess that's the only days that I think it actually starts tomorrow, right? 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So they only have a liquor, the bar open on the 4th and the 5th. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. And chaired, sorry, Marcia.
Sorry, Chris, is that letter that's in the agenda, is that the one?
Yes, I have the original that needs to be sent.
Okay, but it just says here, just on Saturday, March 5th, as you said, Chris, that it's needed for Friday? I think we need...
The motion does say both days, yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to change the letter then, because according to the letter that's written, it only states the 5th.
Actually, the request only states the 5th also. Yeah.
So it's just for the Saturday that they need it? Okay, perfect, I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you.
So just to be clear, it's only the extension from midnight to 1 a.m. That's the extension they've requested.
From noon.
Should be noon to 1 a.m.
Oh, sorry, noon to 1
On
a.m.
March 5th. So perhaps I will change the motion to just reflect the 5th.
I guess we're too late to get clarification on what they need now, right? We're Wednesday and that starts Friday.
Well, I do have the letter here. I'm going to quote, "We are applying for liquor license extension for Saturday, March 5th from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. The extension is for the downstairs area, the stairway, the lobby, and the left side of the arena spectator area."
Okay, so Councilor McLaughlin?
Yeah, well, that does now it comes to my mind, because I'm sure upstairs they don't need a liquor license. They have their own liquor license there, and that's what was confusing me. But now I realize it's downstairs that they're looking for this, so
yep.
it'd be only...
So everybody was good, we've extended it, approved it, and it's already carried. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move right along, and we're going to call this Environmental Services Committee meeting to order, and I have a motion here moved by Kathy Regier, second by Terry Miller. Be it resolved that the Environmental Services Committee of the Township of Whitewater Region recommends to committee? That's what I was thinking. Recommends to council to consider the notion of substituting a current curbside yellow bag purchase program to a 2-bag per week limit with collection cost recovery through tax levies. And I'll turn it over to Steve for discussion.
Thank you. I wasn't present at the last council meeting. Apparently, in my report, I suggested that I'm soon going to be purchasing our bags for the next year. And I understand there were some comments and there was discussion on our yellow bags. So I was asked to put something together, which I did. There are options. Leave everything the way it is or change it. If you so choose to change it, there's things you can do. So I chose one of them, which is just a standard 2-bag limit, any color bag. There's pros and cons to all of them. Currently, if one was to assume that the revenue generated from the sale of yellow bags was actually going towards paying the collection of those bags and the purchase of them, we just more or less break even. If that's where that revenue does get directed. If that is indeed what happens, I don't know. I budget for the purchase of these bags and the collection contract every year. So in that sense, you're not really putting it on. You're not putting an extra levy on the taxpayer because I've already budgeted for it. It's part of my annual waste management budget, which is usually in the range of $600,000 to $700,000, somewhere around there. But what you are doing, though, if you get away from using these bags and charging $3 per bag, what you are doing is you're losing that revenue. So you can easily we can easily stop buying yellow bags and distributing them throughout the township to the locations that sell them, and people can buy whatever bag they want, and with a weight restriction, of course, and limit it to 2 bags per pickup per week. I mean, it's very easy to do. I've already budgeted for the collection cost. I don't have to buy bags anymore, but that revenue is gone of the $3 per bag. So I just threw something together just for your interest. Take it as you will. I mean, there's options, or just leave it the way it is. I wasn't at the discussion, so I'm not sure what was discussed.
Okay, I'm going to go to Councillor Jackson.
I guess the discussion came up that people were concerned about the yellow bag and how it was flimsy, and I made the suggestion, what if we just discounted, we didn't get the yellow bags, that we actually collected a flat rate off of every residential household. My concern is that it seems to be that we're only, you look at the number of bags and it's 27%. Where's all the other garbage going?
To the landfill on Saturdays or
to other municipalities.
Sure. Lots of places.
Lots of places, and that's my concern, both from a business point of view as well as the fact that people aren't utilizing our waste site, and by utilizing the waste site, of course, that means that there's going to be more waste put in the site if we actually charge them on the tax rate, tax bill, and tell them that they can put 2 green bags out or 2 black bags or 2 whatever color bags out. But they'll be more apt to use it. That's my thing. It might also, I've heard a number of complaints where people are dumping garbage down private laneways, private roads, in the bush, burning garbage, and a lot of things. So that would discourage that, because unfortunately some people don't. I mean, we're close enough I know you've seen my husband a number of times, or the boys a number of times at the waste site. So they attend the waste site, but I know we're just never anywhere that we're going to be able to buy the bags. That's my concern. It's difficult for residents to go out and actually buy these bags. You know, the grocery stores are only open. That's always been the concern of residents, even when I used to work here years ago. And 27% just doesn't cut it. There's something wrong there. There's definitely something wrong there.
Okay, Councillor Mackay.
The only thing is, if you only get 27% in the bags, we'll be picking up 73% more then. So you'll need more trucks, more equipment. Why not?
The contractor has to drive the route, regardless if there's one bag out or 600. He's got to drive it. They have the equipment, the Packard trucks. That's not going to be an issue. I've already talked to the contractor and asked some questions entertaining this idea, because I really wasn't sure, because I wasn't at the meeting, I really wasn't sure where this was going to go, but so I just tried to be prepared. I strongly feel that if people can buy whatever color bag they want at whatever retailer they want, we're gonna see our curbside collection usage skyrocket, which is great because we pay this guy to go out and drive regardless. The downside is you're not going to see that. I think on average we pick up about 44,000 bags a year. So that revenue, whether it be, I don't know, 130 grand somewhere, that's gone. That revenue's gone. Yeah.
But the revenue would be collected as a flat rate on the tax bill. So the revenue would still be there.
If you went that route, yeah.
And you would simply take the cost of the pickup and any other costs related to collection and divide it by the number of households, and that would be your rate for the taxes.
I'm going to go to Councillor Olmsted first, and then then the Mayor.
I would agree with you that I'll try to put it politely, that I don't think we're getting good value for the contract we have now, because over half of our users aren't using the current system. So even on my street, I think there may be 3 doors that use yellow bags and 6 or 8 don't. So, but I do see a lot of those same people on a Saturday morning, or used to anyway before I left the store. I used to see you every Saturday morning lined up dropping garbage off. So I think it'd be a better system, absolutely, if we let people put out whatever they wanted and bring in much more usage. The question I have for you is, what do we do with tipping fees? So I guess we'd have to come up with a flat rate for businesses, because I know a lot of businesses do use dumpsters. So there'd be certain things to consider, like...
Well, this is not going to affect commercial. I mean, we charge 50 cents a cubic foot on businesses and residents. We're just talking curbside collection here.
This is just curbside, okay. Thank you.
Going to go to the Mayor next.
I'm a total fan of user fee. What's it going to cost an individual home extra? I use 1 yellow bag a month.
You're an anomaly.
Yeah, but I put it out and it disappears like a... Wow, I love that. But if I get charged on my taxes, I'm going to be charged for 2 bags every week.
If that's the way it's set up.
Yeah. So I'm still a fan of user fee.
Councillor Jackson.
Marcia, do you know approximately how many households there are in the township?
3,128 stops.
3,128. So we've got 130,000 divided by, say that again?
3,128 stops.
$41.56 as a flat rate annually. So you divide that by how much per bag? $3?
$3.
That's 13 bags for the year. So 1 bag a month is suffice. So you're not paying any more, you're not paying any less.
Okay, yeah. Can I give me, I'm gonna give you my side of this. I don't care what the cost is. I look at the landfill. And to me, the reason that we went first to user pay is so that people would keep recycling, reducing, make it smaller so our landfill doesn't fill up. We start this and I can just see what'll happen. If Steve could say all traffic would stop at the landfill, I would be happy with that. I think that would be great. My concern is that everybody will put 2 bags out, and Steve's observation for 25 years all of a sudden turns into 13. I think we have a precious piece of real estate that we need to look after, and that's why I'm like Mayor Johnson. I certainly want to stay with user pay. Where it goes is not my concern. My biggest concern is the landfill and how quick it fills up, because it may be all right for me, but what happens to my children? Where does it go? We're already looking at having transfer stations because Steve is concerned that it's going to fill up too quick. And I just feel that if we go to this system, it'll fill up that much quicker. And that's just my thoughts. Councillor Jackson, were you, I'm sorry, Chris, you need to go a little higher. Go ahead, Chris.
It's fine. I think all the garbage from the township is currently making it, or most of it's making its way into the dump facility already. I really believe that. I've been there Saturdays for I don't know how many years, and believe me, most of the garbage is ending up there, whether they're in yellow bags. Well, anybody there doesn't have a yellow bag, but there is a ton of activity there on a Saturday or on a Wednesday morning up until 2 o'clock. A ton of activity. So for people to say that the garbage is leaving our region, and I'd say it's probably 1 or 2% maybe. The bulk of it is ending up in that landfill. The landfill, the last report we had from Steve, I believe that we're looking at about a 20-25 year before we're full. Tons of opportunity and time to adjust if this doesn't work, and Steve sees that it's filling up very quickly, then we bring another action in place. But I don't think we need to be scared of trying to look at a change here.
No, yeah.
My first question is, who cares if it goes to somebody else's municipality and doesn't go to ours? That, to me, that's just a bonus, actually. And I'm a business person here too, because we're going to run out of space. We have to start looking down the road, unfortunately, at a lot of different things with our dump site. And one of them, I believe, Steve has brought to our attention before, and that is we've got to start to be thinking strongly about some of our bags being taken to other places for disposal. That's got to be discussed and brought forward too. And it's imperative that we get everything under control as soon as possible. Another thing too is, like Councillor Olmsted said, that dump site seems to be like a point of activity, a routine. There are people that they don't care. They're going to go there because that's what they do on Saturday morning, and if we take that on them, they're going to be. So they'll still do that, is what I'm saying. But anyway, I think we got to start looking at a whole lot of different avenues, and recycling has been mentioned by our chair many times, and we've got to really promote that. Another issue I feel strongly about is we're going to have to do something about tarping the loads. You come and drive down the Zion line on Saturday morning, Wednesday morning or afternoon, and it's just pathetic what blows off of vehicles. And I'm suggesting if you don't come into the dump with them tarped or something covering them, you get an extra fine. or a fine.
Councillor Jackson.
I don't mean to say that there's a lot of garbage being transferred to other municipalities. There is a certain percentage, and you'll always have that. People dropping it off for whatever reason, whether it's a cottager or whether it's, you know, I'm on my way to work and I know they're going to have pickup and I need to get rid of it right now. But I think it may cut down on, and I don't think it's going to, I think it might reduce the garbage that is at the landfill site, because if you're only entitled to put 2 out, you're already paying for it on your taxes anyways. You're going to put it out, and you're not going to add a full truckload every week or every month or whatever to just because you're going to the dump. I'm going to the dump, so I'm going to throw this on, this on, this on, this on, and then, you know, and add it up. And every time, I'm sure you see the same ones come week by week, and they've got a full half-ton load rather than just 2 bags.
Yeah.
I think it might reduce that, and it will also reduce the garbage along the different roads because people aren't tarping. I don't know, for the cost, when you look at the actual cost for 13 bags, you know, a cost of 13 bags, I think if people realize how less it is, you know, that than what they're already paying, if they are paying, you know, putting out more than 1 bag a month, then it's worthwhile. And then they can use their own bags.
Okay, now I'm going to go to Councillor Ray here.
Well, I do like the idea. I'd like to see us change. I agree with Councillor Olmsted. We can try it for a year. If it doesn't work, we can always go back. But we do just have to remember that even when we talk about recycling, there are individuals that will recycle no matter what. And there are individuals that it doesn't matter what they're paying, they'll never recycle.
Yeah.
So I think we just have to look at that. I do agree. I think we will certainly alleviate some of the traffic going into there, but we have to keep in mind that you still can't get everything in a garbage bag. So, I mean, I'm married to a farmer that has to truck, you know, strings and whatever, so that we still have to have that land, you know, we still will definitely have to use that. I remember a time, and this is years back, and I got shot down for this once, so I'll probably get shot down again. But there was a time we used to offer a spring and fall pickup, I know, Steve, where you could just put it out at the end of the road and they'd come and they'd take it away. And I think when we offered that, I don't have any statistics, but that must have helped a little bit in traffic going to the dump, because if I could get it all out of there, I would do that.
There's a couple of ways to look at it. I've always been of the opinion it's cheaper to let them bring it to you. And my experience with bulky item pickup, curbside collection, or, well, you go around to everybody's driveway with a front end loader and dump trucks because there's a landfill at the end of everybody's driveway. It's highly, highly abused. And so are free landfill days too. They're highly abused. So this by not offering those, I don't know, you could suggest that you're not allowing that abuse to happen. But you know, I think people's practices, their shopping practices, their consumerism, we've got a ball rolling here with economy and retail and consuming. We consume. Well, as long as we keep shopping, we're going to have a crisis with where we're going to put all this plastic from China that we buy from Walmart. People have their practices of purchasing, of producing garbage, and I think everybody's already, whether it's 2 bags a week or $3 a bag, people are going to continue to recycle at their will, what they want, as far as they want to go with it. Recycling is not mandatory. It's not legislation. It's a feel-good thing. We try to do the right